In this video, I'll be breaking down for you why your tax refund might still be delayed and what it means for you. Hey, what's up everybody? Mike the CPA here. Welcome if you're brand new. We cover finances, investing, and taxes on this channel. As we walk together through all the factors holding up your refund, you're going to see why intentionally overpaying your taxes throughout the year to use the IRS as an extra savings account is not a good idea. All right, let's just get right into it. And I gotta tell you, for somebody who's been doing this as long as I have, I am shocked how many unfiled, or not unfiled, but how many refunds have not been issued yet. Approximately 35 million, give or take. So if there are really 35 million tax returns backlogged, what type of returns are they? Of the 35 million, what you're looking at really is about half of these are actually paper filed returns, which it always is, if you can, it's always best to electronically file your return. That way you ensure you get your refund faster. About 16 million or so are returns that have an issue with them, or the IRS has to have somebody manually review them because something's slightly off. Either a notice is going to be issued or the IRS has to look at that return to make a correction because something is not matching up from what that person reported versus what's in the system on the IRS's side. And there's another 2 million returns of people who filed their return once, but had to go back because they found an error or an issue and had to amend their return once more. Now, I happen to know, based on the comments you guys leave me, that a lot of you are already really in tune with the news and trying to track what's going on. And so you've probably heard there's many different reasons why your refund is delayed. But do you happen to know what the biggest reason is? You might guess it's an increase in fraud of people targeting stimulus checks and unemployment claims, but really, that's not the main reason. By far the largest reason that you're seeing delays now, and there's many other factors, and don't worry guys, I'm not going to leave those out. We're going to talk about those, was the pandemic itself. And let me elaborate on that. Last year, during 2020, when the pandemic was really heating up and things were really shutting down, I happened to be working with an IRS auditor directly. Now, quick side note, if you've never worked with an IRS auditor, you might picture them as somebody that looks like Agent Smith from The Matrix. And I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but that's at least what I always thought. The person I worked with was actually really pleasant and easy to work with. Apparently, they're real people just like you and me. And so I got the inside information on what was going on with the IRS at that time. And she told me, just at the office she was working at, that the majority of the staff at that location had to go remote. They don't go remote, guys. The IRS, was all brand new to them. So many processes they were trying to figure out all at once, things they just weren't used to. And the mail was coming in. And on top of that, she told me that when the mail would actually come in, they would have to let it sit for 2 to 3 weeks before they would even touch it. And you can imagine how many people are mailing things to the IRS. And the mail just piled up so quickly. And those 17 million returns I just mentioned, yeah, that's the mail that was piling up in their office. And that is part of the reason why things are so backed up right now. In fact, the IRS had so much backlogged mail, they actually had to rent trailers in order to store it all. Like seriously, think of how crazy that is. Imagine you did not open your mail for like 3 weeks and let all of your bills sit. I'm pretty sure that would not end very well. Eventually, your water would stop working and probably your lights would eventually go off. But hey, if you're the IRS, I guess you can just let it ride. I really hope you're enjoying the content so far. If you are, do me a favor and drop a like on this video. It really helps me out. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and helps other people on YouTube see this information. Thank you so much. Now, to be fair, it's easy for me to go and point fingers at the IRS, but honestly, a lot of what you're seeing here really is not their fault, in my professional opinion. Over the past decade, I've worked as an accountant and did taxes, and during these past 10 years, I've seen numerous staff cuts to the IRS. Never made much sense to me, but they're virtually running on a skeleton crew. And if you've ever ran a business with a skeleton crew, it's really hard just to get the basics done. And in their case, the basics is just processing tax returns, replying and responding to different people's notices and questions and things like that. But if you consider all the things that they were tasked with in 2020 because of this pandemic, you're going to see that they've been virtually given an impossible task because they just don't have enough people. So I'm not saying that this is the main reason, but it's one of the reasons why you're seeing delays right now. So let's keep going. Now, for the other reasons, what were they? What's still holding up your refund besides what we just mentioned? Well, as you know, the first one is the stimulus checks. It's those economic impact payments. The IRS had to figure all that out, set up a website, try to look at people's prior returns to guesstimate how much of a check to send people, get people's direct deposit information, and all that. So those checks really hindered their operation, which was already hindered to begin with. More recently now, you see rolling out the child tax credit payments being the advance payments, which people are starting to get. In fact, as of the time of making this video, most people should have received their first check from getting their child tax credit in the form of a monthly deposit in advance. And speaking of child tax credit and monthly payments, you might take a close look at what you're getting for your monthly payment from that, because the number could be wrong, or maybe they haven't sent out a check to you yet. And maybe that's because, hey, they haven't even looked at your paper filed 2019 return, or maybe they haven't looked at your 2020 return. I bet you can guess what this next holdup is, and it deals with unemployment compensation. If you had unemployment compensation on your tax return and you reported it as taxable income and filed early, you basically slapped yourself in the face.
Hey, really, when I go...
Do it now, come on!
I can't, because when I...
Do it! Give me your...
How was that? Is that okay?
Because the IRS comes out later on and says, hey, by the way, we're going to switch the rules around on you now. And, oh, we're sorry if you didn't know this before filing a return, but now since we're going to switch the rules and we're going to allow you a credit of up to $10,200 per person on your unemployment income, if you qualify, that is, if you qualify, well, now we have to put your return aside for review. Had you just waited to file after the deadline, then everything would have gone through because you would have known the rules at that point. You wouldn't have to change your return. The IRS would not have to change your return. Everything would be hunky-dory, and you would probably be sitting pretty with your cash right now. Now, wait a minute. If the IRS is holding onto your refund, do they owe you interest? The answer is yes, they do. Once 45 days have passed after the filing deadline, and the IRS has not issued you a refund, interest will begin to accrue on that money. It's not a lot. The interest rate, is extremely low right now. So it's still better to have your money and have that money working for you in something else, at least in my opinion. But at least you will get some interest on whatever your refund is going to be. And did any of you guys out there actually try calling the IRS to ask questions during the pandemic? Even now, it's still hard to get a hold of them. But during that time period, if you called, you probably got disconnected, it was too busy, couldn't get a hold of anybody. But if you were lucky enough to get through, you were really lucky, because out of the millions upon millions of phone calls, they only answered about 3%. Can you imagine? I mean, if I were to do that at my job, I'd be fired in probably less than a week. I can't believe I'm about to tell you guys this number, but it was reported that at the peak of the filing season, the Internal Revenue Service was actually getting as many as 1,500 phone calls per second.
Damn!
And even as a tax professional and using the tax practitioner hotline, it was still difficult to get through. Often I would call and basically it would give me a message saying, hey, we're too busy, we can't talk to you. Click, and that was about it. My advice to you, if you were trying to figure out where in the process your return is at, is to check the Where's My Refund app on the IRS website. I'm not telling you to check it every day, it's not worth your time, but maybe every other week, and hopefully it will be updated soon, and you'll get a better idea of where it's at. I'll leave a link to that particular part of their site in the video description and the comment section below. Also, I will tell you that I'm starting to see a lot of IRS notices roll out. And the notice is not always a bad thing. Sometimes if you get a notice, it might just tell you that the IRS has updated your return to reflect the proper amount, or they might have corrected a number and then are going to finalize your return. And so that's their notice to you. Other times you might open the notice and they might be missing information. Be sure to be reading these notices and to reply to them as quickly as possible. If they're missing information, they cannot process your return, or they might process your return in an unfavorable way. So just try to be on top of that and be looking for that in the mail. And so you guys don't hate me, and I just want to clarify, I'm not saying that you're going to get a notice. I'm not saying everyone is, but some people might. But I'm going to be real with y'all. Even though I've been doing this for like 10 plus years, I still get queasy and a little nervous every time I see a letter from the IRS that is given to me. Now, whether it's for me personally, my personal taxes, or for a client's taxes, it usually means more work for me. And unfortunately, I don't have any inside information in terms of what the ETA is from the IRS, in terms of when they're going to finish processing these 35 million returns. It's going to take them a while. It's probably going to take them several more months at the earliest, to be honest with you, is my guess. It could take even up to 6 months. I don't know. But do know they are working on it. They just got this monthly child tax credit payment in motion. Hopefully now they can redirect their attention on getting these returns processed and getting refunds out to people as quickly as possible. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. I just want to say thank you to all of you for being part of the channel, supporting my work. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you down in the comments below. You have a wonderful week out there. Take care of yourself. Live life uncaged. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.